Hello again. This is just going to be a fairly short one today. I want to talk to you about food insecurity and the problems that we're facing into across the world at the moment. I live in Ireland, which is a country that produces quite a lot of food. And we're in a very lucky position. We've got a very temperate climate here. And we really don't have to worry about food availability. This is something that famously wasn't the case in the past with the famine, but that was over 150 years ago. So the situation today is quite different for us. We can grow a lot of food here and also import a lot from not just Europe on our doorstep, but all over the world. Although that situation is beginning to get a bit more complex, partly because of the problems with supply. There's a massive problem in the delivery system, the supply chain, if you like, which is causing massive delays. And you've also got a problem which is to do with a lack of food for distribution in certain areas of the world. A lot of us, some people would say it's down to climate change, some people would just say it's just down to bad luck. I mean, every so often you get occasional years where crop yields are very poor, and this happens throughout history. So this may be because of climate change, or it might just be pure coincidence. We can't really be sure about that. But the end result of this is, whether it's one thing or another, there's less food available this year than in some previous years. And couple that with the supply issue problems, that creates a problem already. And then on top of that, we've now got the problem of increased prices. Particularly of importance is how it affects farmers, and in particular it's things like fertilizers and animal feed that are already hugely affected, plus the price of diesel, because pretty much all farm machines run on diesel. If they're not electric, they would be running on diesel, and the price of diesel has pretty much doubled. So that's affecting prices. Plus, you also have to remember that delivery at the other end, when all the food has been produced, it has to be collected, shipped off, processed, and then it's delivered to the shops, the final products. And some of these trucks that are doing this delivery might be really poor in terms of economy, as low as 7 miles to the gallon of diesel, which is pretty appalling. So you can see all along the whole chain there's more and more costs going in, and with a lot of farmers now finding it impossible to make any money. Some of them are not bothering to plant crops, some of them are reducing their herds of sheep or cows or pigs, chickens, whatever it is, down to an absolute bare minimum. So the availability might seem to be okay at the moment, but going into the end of the year and into next year, we could be seeing a lot of problems all across Europe and in America, and also in South America. And already you're going to see lots of problems in countries that have already had problems like this in the past. Parts of Africa and Asia, which have unfortunately had terrible famines in the past, are going to be also hit quite severely probably. So some countries will come off relatively unscathed, others will suffer enormously. It all depends on what's available in your area, how much is being produced, how much farmers are suffering, and the levels of support that government give to ensure food stability and food supplies. So it all sounds really rather worrying, and of course it is. It is something to be concerned about, but there's a lot we can do. I mean, if you have knowledge, you can, in a very small area of ground, produce quite a lot of food. So, I mean, I have training as a horticulturist. I also have training as a druid. So I've learned a lot about plants, not just how to grow them, but how to use them, both for food and for medicinal purposes and other practical uses. This is something that was commonly known in the past. You know, your granny or grandparents would have known things like pickling, smoking, salting, preserving of foods, correct storage of food without refrigeration. And these skills have been lost by a lot of people. People knowing how to cook is not as common as it used to be. So, I mean, a lot of food preparation can involve jarring, pickling, etc. for use later on. And if you know how to grow food successfully, that makes a huge difference. So even if you don't grow all of your food, if you can produce a percentage of it, or particularly the more expensive stuff, it could make life a lot easier. So I'm unfortunately predicting that things are going to get more and more expensive. There will be shortages of certain items. I can imagine things like orange juice or coffee, chocolate, becoming quite hard to get. Maybe possibly problems with meat. If there's less livestock available, meat might become very expensive or more scarce. And certain vegetable, fruit, nut products could become quite difficult too. So it's certainly worth thinking about slowly stocking up. I wouldn't recommend going to buying out the whole of the supermarket. That would be pretty selfish. But you know, when you go and buy rice, for example, maybe buy 2 instead of 1 every time you go. There's no harm in having a bit of a stockpile in case things do get difficult. So, although it sounds very worrying and very negative, there are positive things we can do. Certainly the best and most rewarding thing, I think, is growing our own food. So I would think if you haven't done that already this year, you'd want to look at doing sort of a late harvest and preparing for major planting next year. Because apart from saving money, growing your own food is actually a lot healthier. And of course it gives you exercise too. So I'm afraid we are going to have food insecurity, at least to some extent. I'm grateful to be living where I am, where I don't think we're going to have really severe problems. But if you live somewhere where you're likely to have really severe shortages, perhaps now's the time to start thinking about that and preparing for what's coming. Okay, well that's all I have to say for now. Thank you for listening. Hope you found it interesting. Don't forget to click the like if you enjoyed the video, and feel free to leave a comment if you have anything to say about my video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.